In NASCAR's 75-year history, there's been many numbers that have come and gone. Any given weekend, you're going to see 36 to 38 different unique numbers on the track, and each one of those numbers has a story to tell. Hi, I'm your host, Matt, and this is a new installment called NASCAR Number History, presented by Dogleg Media. In this series, we're going to take a look at each one of those numbers' stories. We're going to let you know who was the first to win, who has the most wins, who's driving the machine now, and who got the last win for the number. This is going to go in chronological order, so we're going to start 1 through 5 today, and we're going to dive into each one of those numbers and who made it famous and why. Without further ado, let's jump in. Starting off with number 1, the first driver to win in this number was all the way back in 1956 with Lloyd Dane. Jamie McMurray has the most wins in this number with 4, getting some of NASCAR's biggest crown jewels, including a Daytona 500 and a Brickyard 400. The number 1 car has won 24 times in its history, and Jamie Mack was responsible for a lot of them. Kurt Busch, another driver who made the number 1 car famous for Chip Ganassi, he won 3 times in the number, but none bigger than the Battle of the Bushes at Kentucky Speedway. Kentucky was never known for putting on great racing at the racetrack, and it's off the schedule now because of that. But that didn't stop the 2 Busch brothers from getting into it at Kentucky and putting on an instant classic. Kurt Busch, driving the number 1 Monster Energy Chevrolet, gives his brother the business coming out of turn number 4 to win at Kentucky, and he collected 3 wins in the number 1 machine at Chip Ganassi. And of course, the most recent guy, the guy who's piloting the number 1 car now, is Ross Chastain. A very polarizing driver. He's risen to the top. He's known as a very aggressive driver. He finished 2nd in the points last season. He got his first 2 wins in that number 1 Trackhouse Chevrolet. His last race and the last win for the number 1 car came at Talladega in 2022, and his first win came at COTA. Let's move on to the number 2 car. The number 2 car has 101 wins in the Cup Series. Their first came all the way back in 1950 with Bill Blair. But of course, we all know the Blue Deuce was made famous by Rusty Wallace. He leads all drivers in the number 2 car with 37 wins. But you can't think of the number 2 car now without thinking of Brad Keselowski. Keselowski won 34 races in the number 2 car and brought Roger Penske their first ever championship in 2012. Brad K picked up some great crown jewel wins. He collects 34 wins in the number 2 car before he leaves Penske to become a driver owner at RFK. Of course, the guy piloting the machine now is none other than Austin Cindric. Cindric replaced Brad Keselowski after he left to be an owner driver and found immediate success in his rookie season. Austin Cindric wins the Daytona 500, the first race of his rookie season. He has 1 win in the number 2 car so far. That came in 2022 at the Great American Race. But Austin Cindric has been up front. He made the playoffs with that win. He almost got another win at Daytona in the fall. But can Austin Cindric bring that 2 car some more luck into the future? And now we're going to talk about by far the most fabled number in NASCAR history, the number 3. When you think of the number 3 car, you think of NASCAR. You think of Dale Earnhardt. The first to win in the car was in 1954 with Dick Rathman, but we cannot talk about the number 3 without talking about the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt won 67 times in the number 3 car for Richard Childress Racing. The number 3 car has 100 wins in the Cup Series, and 67 of those are, of course, from Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, but none of those wins bigger than his 1998 Daytona 500 win. Earnhardt had won everything there was to win at Daytona except for the 500. In 20 years of trying, he finally brings it home under caution to win his one and only Daytona 500 in 1998. All the crews lined up on pit road, congratulating Earnhardt on such an accomplishment. 7-time champion, 6-time in the number 3 car. Dale Earnhardt is by far the greatest and the most iconic driver to ever pilot the number 3, and we will never, ever see another like him in our lifetimes. I'm confident of that. The driver who took over for Dale Earnhardt, there was a long hiatus. The driver, Austin Dillon, grandson of Richard Childress, he took over the number 3 car in 2014. The number had not been driven since Dale Earnhardt's tragic death in 2001, and Austin Dillon filled some pretty big shoes. Obviously not finding as much success as Dale Earnhardt, but you cannot measure anybody to that. Austin Dillon has found some phenomenal success in the number 3 car. He has 4 wins in the number, including a Daytona 500 championship. 20 years to the day after Earnhardt collected his in 1998, Austin Dillon gets the Daytona 500 win in 2018, by far his biggest win in the number. Austin Dillon, he's the most recent to win in the number as well. He got a huge clutch walk-off win in 2022 in the number. This was a crazy race. Half the field, more than half the field, was eliminated with rain. NASCAR failed to throw the caution, and Austin Dillon gets the walk-off win to put him into the playoffs in that number 3 car with the help from his former teammate Tyler Reddick. And Austin Dillon, he's your most recent to win in the number. And with Kyle Busch as his teammate, I think we're going to see some more wins in the number 3 car very soon. Moving on to the number 4 car. The number 4 car has 82 wins in the NASCAR Cup Series. Their very first win came in 1954 by John Soares. But the number 4 car is most synonymous with Kevin Harvick. Harvick has 37 wins in the number 4. He won the 2014 championship in his first season with the number. Harvick has made it his home. Rex White dominated with the number back in the 60s with 26 wins. Of those 82 wins, though, 37 of them belong to Happy Harvick. This is his farewell season in 2023. He's the most recent driver to get a win in the number 4 car. He won 2 times last year in 2022. He went back-to-back after a year-long drought from winning. Kevin Harvick, again, in his farewell season. There will be a new driver in the 4 car next year. We're all speculating on who that driver will be. But in the meantime, I think we all just need to appreciate what Happy Harvick, the closer, has been able to do in his short time at Stewart-Haas. Less than 10 years, 37 wins. Will he add on to that win total in his farewell season? Can he get to 40? We'll have to wait and see. But it's always a pleasure to watch Happy Harvick. And to close out the video, let's take a look at the number 5 car's history. The number 5 has won 59 races in NASCAR's Cup Series, their first coming in 1960 with Cotton Owens. Up until 2 years ago, Terry Labonte, he led all drivers with 12 wins, but Kyle Larson has been on a tear since joining Hendrick Motorsports in 2021 with a 10-win championship season in 2021. Kyle Larson leads all drivers with 14 wins. But again, you can't talk about the number 5 car without talking about Terry Labonte. Labonte won a championship in the car for Rick Hendrick. Labonte has 12 wins. Iconic colors. The Cornflake Kellogg's machine was a menace in the 90s. And Terry Labonte, 12 wins. Phenomenal driver for the number 5 car. Iconic even. And the most recent, again, to win is Kyle Larson. Larson's off to a hot start in 2023, getting the win at Richmond. He's been in position to win many more of these races. Larson, I think, will definitely add to that 14 wins this season. I could see him getting up to 17, 18. This could be a very strong year for Kyle Larson in that 5 car. But guys, that'll do it for numbers 1 through 5. Next week, you're going to see numbers 6 through 10. There's some surprising numbers in there. Did you know that the 7 car hasn't been to victory lane since 1997? Or that the 6 car hasn't been to victory lane in over 10 years? We're going to dive into all of that and more in the next installment of NASCAR Number History. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like the video. Go over to the Daily Downforce. Sign up for their emails. Follow them on Twitter. Guys, I've been putting out my first couple of stories. I can't wait to share more with you. But that'll do it for us here at Dogleg Media and NASCAR Number History. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.